So when you were young, did you ever have anyone in your life that lied to you? How did that affect you? How did it affect your ability to trust other people? So if you were ever in a relationship where you felt controlled by the other person, you may be ultra sensitive to anything that even hints of control. You may think your spouse is trying to control you when that is not their intent at all. Many of us have been in relationships in which we really couldn't trust the other person. Your spouse may have never done anything to cause you to mistrust them, but because of a past relationship, you are constantly on guard and you're always suspicious. Then there's the baggage that we can all bring into a marriage. It can be from our family of origin. It could be from a previous relationship. It could be from life experiences that we've had. And when we bring baggage and do not deal with it, it will keep affecting not only us, but also our marriage. You know, there's physical abuse and sexual abuse and lying. There's infidelity. There are all kinds of mistrust. You know, I see many people have been affected by one or more of these. And when the issue is dealt with and healing begins to take place, well, the effect that it has on a marriage can be minimal. But if it's not dealt with, these can be ruinous to a marriage. Emily, well, she was 12 when her parents divorced. She knew her mom and dad's marriage wasn't very good because she often heard them fighting. What she did know was her dad was having an affair. Apparently, he told her mom over and over that the affair was done and he was going to be faithful. But he wasn't. Finally, Emily's mom had enough. Her dad moved out. Her mom told Emily far more than she needed to know. Emily's dad told her nothing would change and that she would see him just as much as ever. That also turned out to be a lie. Emily thought, my dad seems to be good at lying. Maybe all men lie. At 12, that made sense to her. It was just a few weeks later when Emily figured out that her dad was living with another woman with 2 children, and they were just 8 and 4. By the end of the year, Emily felt her dad had left her just like he had left her mom. Emily never said that to anyone, but she knew it was true. She could not trust him, and probably not any other man either, ever. Through high school, Emily only had one date, even though she was popular and she got asked out a lot. She attended the senior prom with the literal boy next door who was like a brother, and that was safe for her. After high school, Emily worked at a local bank, and she took some night classes, and she really liked banking, and she enjoyed the people that she was working with. Logan, well, he also worked at the bank. He seemed nice, and they gradually became friends. It was over a year before he asked her out. She surprised herself by saying yes, before she realized that was what she had said. Over the months of dating, she began to think that Logan might be okay. Maybe he wasn't like her dad or the other men. And when he asked her to marry him, again she said yes. The wedding was small. Emily didn't want to have to deal with the whole thing of dad walking me down the aisle to give you away thing. They honeymooned in Mexico, and they came back to begin their life together. So I first met Emily's mom right after the divorce, and I knew Emily from that time on. I never counseled Emily because Emily always said she was fine. Her mom never pushed it. And then Emily and Logan celebrated their first anniversary. The following week, Emily was in my office. She knew she loved Logan. She didn't know why she was so afraid that he was being unfaithful to her. There was no real evidence, but the way he acted reminded her of her dad when she was 12. And Emily had never mentioned any of this to Logan. So I asked her to bring Logan with her the next time she came for an appointment. And as we sat together, Emily shared with Logan what she shared with me. I couldn't have scripted Logan's response any better than he did. He affirmed his love for her, he promised his faithfulness, and then he looked puzzled over the things he did that reminded her of her dad. So Logan helped Emily understand that what she saw and what he meant were totally different. That what she saw in her dad, that was not him. So Emily continued to work on the issues in counseling. Now, Logan went above and beyond in being accountable, and he filled every gap he could to show his faithfulness to Emily. With God's help, Emily was able to see the lies that she had believed about men for a long, long time. Sure, there were other men like her dad, absolutely, but Logan, he wasn't one of them. And then the big turnaround happened. Emily forgave her dad. Today, Logan and Emily have a great marriage. They're on the same team. They're not foes. You can be on the same team together too.